I once fell for the system's lies, believing I was the sweet, innocent heroine of a romance novel, destined for a perfect life with Ethan Black. At a college reunion, the newly returned heiress, Eleanor Vance, captivated everyone, even Ethan. I stumbled, falling to the floor, and he just looked at me coldly, his lips forming a cruel yawn in embarrassment. Eleanor helped me up, a smirk playing on her lips, still as clumsy as ever. "Aren't you, Nova?" Then, Ethan accidentally choked me to death. I heard the system cheer. Perfect ending. I woke up, reborn, back to the moment the system found me. As a soul drifting in the air, I finally saw the truth. This world was just a high-tech simulation, and my life, a virtual reality show, passing through data streams. I saw my body in a simulation pod, in the glass room next door. Sponsors toasted, "The poor scheme, the rich have a conscience." We need to engrave that in the audience's minds, make those lower-class people recognize their place. Let me read you the most popular comment this week. Someone said, "Nova is just a manipulative commoner. If she hadn't chased after wealth that wasn't hers, she wouldn't have met such a tragic end." Eleanor, on the other hand, though a bit arrogant, is kind and generous. A perfect ending is what she deserves. Isn't it hilarious? Another voice chimed in, "Let young girls glimpse the world of money, then push them into a pit of despair, crush their pride, watch their pathetic attempts to save themselves, their painful struggles, and finally, their complete surrender. People will just call her a gold digger, a fake innocent girl." Our values propaganda is so successful, ordinary people staying in their place and accepting their fate, while flattering power and money. That's what makes this world run smoothly. The director picked a good one this time, even gave the supporting character a system to control the plot. Shocked and furious, my memories returned. My name is Nova. 2 months ago, I signed up for the hottest reality show, Parallel Timelines. The show custom-built backgrounds for each participant, who were then dropped into a virtual world with their memories wiped, living out a dramatic story as their true selves. True selves meant no privacy or freedom in the virtual world. Even the darkest parts of human nature, greed, selfishness, jealousy, were exposed for all to see. One wrong move and you'd be torn apart by public opinion. That's why Parallel Timelines offered such high pay, perfect for someone like me, drowning in debt. I saw staff working on my simulation pod and worried about waking up in the real world to a torrent of abuse. I replayed my life in the virtual world, wondering how I could have been so despicable. I was born in a small town, my family poor, my parents favoring my brother, my grandparents only doted on their precious grandson. In that environment, self-preservation became instinct. Simply put, I was selfish. If not for my excellent grades, which brought my family prestige, I wouldn't have even had the chance to go to high school. In high school, I won a gold medal in a national math competition, catching the eye of an elite private high school's admissions office. Like the catfish effect, putting a catfish among sardines to keep them active and healthy, the school wanted me to be that catfish. The school's offer was irresistible, even to my parents: free tuition, a generous annual scholarship, and the principal himself promised that the connections alone would guarantee a bright future. So, I transferred to Oakwood Academy. Even in this school filled with the children of the wealthy, Eleanor Vance and Ethan Black were at the top. She was a magnate's daughter, he a corporate heir. Oakwood practiced elite education, so there weren't many students, and most had known each other since childhood. Thanks to this tight-knit circle, everyone knew how much Eleanor liked Ethan, but he simply ignored her affection. At first, I didn't understand their complicated relationship. As a new, out-of-place student, my lack of confidence and vulnerability seemed to draw Ethan's protective instincts. He started showing me attention. Eleanor, who already disliked me, found my presence unbearable. The more Ethan favored me, the more she loathed me, so she started bothering me. But Ethan always happened to show up and help me. This only made her hate me more, creating a vicious cycle. During P.E. class, Eleanor deliberately hit my face with a volleyball to embarrass me. I couldn't take it anymore and fought back. That's when Jasper King, the studious boy who secretly adored Eleanor, couldn't stand by. He subtly hinted to Eleanor's followers that if they wanted to curry favor with her, they should proactively handle things without being told. Eleanor's posse understood. Naturally, they had to defend her. So, after school, they cornered me in the music room. In the soundproof room, they beat and kicked me, burned my skin with cigarettes, singed my hair with a lighter, then stripped my clothes. taking photos to blackmail me. The bullying was endless, every second an agonizing torment. I was miserable, lying on the floor like a dog, stripped of dignity. I prayed for someone, anyone, to save me. Then, the system's voice appeared. From that point, I began my revenge on Eleanor. Even though her followers, not her, bullied me, I still saw her as the instigator. With my constant meddling, Ethan completely broke Eleanor's heart. She was despondent for a long time. I was so caught up in my triumph that I didn't notice her change. She suddenly transformed, no longer clinging to Ethan, instead growing closer to Jasper and focusing on her studies. Eleanor had a natural talent for everything. With Jasper's help, just 6 months of hard work led to a dramatic improvement in her grades. She was studying, while I was indulging in pleasures with Ethan. Life felt like Pandora's box had opened, spiraling out of control. The dazzling world I'd never seen before clouded my vision. The thrill of reckless spending consumed me. I loved being looked up to. Clerks at luxury stores who once sneered now knelt to serve me. The people who bullied me now fawned over me. After I got together with Ethan, everyone became kinder. The system constantly advised me that even if I got into a prestigious university and graduated, crossing social classes was nearly impossible. It was better to secure Ethan and achieve that leap in one go. The system told me to refine my cooking skills in my spare time, because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Ethan happened to be a picky eater. The system also said I was the heroine of this world, and love was my true calling. Yes, why should I feel guilty for an easy life? I started telling myself the same thing, but when it came time to secure nominations for prestigious universities, I discovered Eleanor's overall grades were higher than mine. The system again offered advice. With her family background, she can choose any Ivy League school. A pre-admission slot means nothing to her, but it's a lifeline for you. Your family isn't well off. To marry into the Black family, you need a high degree as a dowry. You should find a way to make her give you the slot. I didn't notice the contradictory and flawed reasoning. Extreme unease churned inside me. I played the victim, used manipulation, and pressured Eleanor through Ethan, trying to make her give up her early admission spot. I didn't realize Ethan's words no longer affected Eleanor. I stopped her, foolishly and self-righteously trying to morally blackmail her. Eleanor just sneered. The early admission slot truly means nothing to me, but I have no desire to give it to you. You're pathetic. You once had good grades, but now you're nothing without a man. Like breeds like rats dig holes. Your ambition in this life will only ever go so far. A surge of emotion completely blinded me. I almost hysterically accused Eleanor of bullying me, pinning all the past bullying on her. Ethan believed me completely and cut ties with Eleanor. Under his influence, Eleanor was forced to give up her spot and study abroad early. After graduating college, I married Ethan as I wished, but I never imagined my father, after being released from prison, would show up with a group of terrible relatives, causing a scene at our wedding. The Black family was humiliated, and my life of nightmares began. Ethan's mother despised me, resentful that my presence prevented Ethan from marrying his childhood sweetheart, who was from an equally prominent family. Eventually, even Ethan resented me, thinking that if I hadn't interfered, he might have been with Eleanor. In the years after marriage, Ethan's treatment of me escalated from silent treatment to physical abuse. Ashamed, he cut me off from all social contact. I became a caged bird. Things only improved slightly when I became pregnant. For a while, Ethan reverted to his old self. He took me to a private island for vacation, acting like a caring, romantic husband, but everything changed quickly. Eleanor and Jasper got engaged. Ethan, hearing the news, abandoned me and disappeared without a trace. I went into premature labor and had to deliver at the nearest hospital, alone, facing dilapidated medical facilities and foreign staff. I felt like a fish on a cutting board, utterly powerless and stripped of dignity. After giving birth, I suffered from postpartum depression. I was listless most of the time, and my body changed due to childbirth. Uterine prolapse and incontinence made Ethan avoid me completely. I wasn't invited to the college reunion, but someone who wanted to see me suffer deliberately sent me photos of a radiant Eleanor standing with Ethan. I crashed the party. Ethan was gazing at Eleanor, his eyes filled with regret and deep affection. In my panic, I bumped into a table, knocking over a wine glass and losing my balance, falling to the floor. The scene instantly became chaotic. My white dress was stained with red wine. Ethan just looked at me coldly, his lips forming. "You're an embarrassment." Eleanor walked over and helped me up. whispering with a smile, still as clumsy as ever. Aren't you, Nova? Back home, Ethan and I had a furious argument. He said he wanted a divorce, that I was a bitter shrew, that seeing me disgusted him, that all his other women were better than me. When I tried to threaten him with a black family secret, he choked my neck, telling me to shut up. Ethan had been drinking and was red-faced with rage. I quickly went limp, ending my life in the virtual world. I thought I would wake up, but the staff operating the simulation pod suddenly looked panicked. The room erupted in chaos. I heard them say, "No vital signs." Another poor soul whose mind was eroded by the simulation system, unable to bear thee. It turned out I hadn't just ended my life in the virtual world, but in reality too. I closed my eyes in despair. When I opened them again, I was back in that music room, a sharp ringing in my ears, and the pain in my body assaulted my senses. I realized I was back in the virtual world. Brittany pulled my hair while Nicole kicked me in the stomach. The intense stomach cramps made me curl into a ball. Nicole had kicked too hard, and Brittany couldn't hold me. She clicked her tongue. "Be careful, don't mess up her face. She needs it to climb the social ladder." Brittany rolled her eyes at Nicole, tugged my hair back, and pinched my chin. "Don't think I don't know you fake pure bitches, trying to climb into our class by clinging to men. You're not good enough. Ethan's just playing with you. Let me tell you something, what you're not born with, you'll never have." They underestimated Ethan's current affection for me. Ethan's parents were strict and rarely around. The one who gave him love and companionship was the poor nanny who, during a car accident, shielded him with her body, saving his life with her own. My vulnerability and helplessness reminded him of his younger self. My resilience, like a wild grass, rekindled his love for his lost nanny. He protected me, liked me, and in doing so, protected his past self and loved the person he had lost. In the chaos, I forced my fingers down my throat. Ugh, I vomited. Nicole and the other bullies screamed, scattering, disgusted, covering their mouths and noses. "Damn, that's gross. What is that?" I seized the opportunity to pretend to pass out. Then, the familiar voice of the system sounded. "Hello, host, you have been bound to the system. In this world, you are a pure, resilient, innocent girl. Ethan Black is your target, your true love. You must increase Ethan Black's favorability to 100% to achieve a perfect ending. Currently, Ethan Black's favorability is 65%. Host, you need to work harder. The night may be dark, but there will always be dawn." I couldn't help but sneer in my mind. Dawn? Following the system's guidance would only lead me into an abyss. During my postpartum depression, I felt the lights of the world going out one by one until darkness swallowed me whole, leaving no glimmer of light. I never wanted to experience that feeling again. Once the virtual world began running, human intervention couldn't change character trajectories, but components like the system could control the plot. In essence, the system was a tool controlled by people in the real world to manipulate me. The person playing the system was just a staff member. The system couldn't read my mind. It could only initiate conversations with me. As long as I didn't reply, it couldn't talk to me. So, I didn't respond to the system and continued to play dead. The others were clearly at a loss. After a while, they nudged one of them to check my breath. I heard that person sigh in relief and say brightly, "She's still alive." The next second, I heard Brittany scoff, "Go get a bucket of water. Doesn't have to be clean. Mop water is fine." Footsteps receded. While waiting, Brittany and Nicole chatted. Their voices came from a little further away. I squinted, peeking. They were sitting on a piano bench, laughing. I was only a few steps from the door. Now, I sprang up like a fish, rushing to the door as fast as I could, not caring that I was barely dressed. Only one thought filled my mind, just get out the door. There were cameras in the hallway. They wouldn't dare chase me easily. Sure enough, once outside, I slowed down and looked behind me. They hadn't followed. With a distraught expression, I numbly walked to the school nurse's office. The system's alarm blared in my mind. "Host, they took nude photos of you. Making a big fuss will only ruin your purity in Ethan Black's eyes. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Patience is the key to long-term success. Brittany's mother is on the school board." The system continued. "Nicole's father is a senior partner at a law firm. The parents of the others are also prominent figures in society, a former police chief, a high-ranking executive at a brokerage firm. Besides, they're all minors. Host, even if you go to a teacher or the police, you won't get a satisfactory outcome. Making underage bullies pay is already difficult, and with their powerful financial backing and expensive legal teams against you, it's like throwing an egg at a rock. Last life, I followed the system's advice and endured it, blaming my injuries on my father. Everyone in the neighborhood knew my father became violent when he drank. Ethan was heartbroken. He used his influence to send my father to prison and moved me into his private apartment. We naturally started living together, just like in all those TV dramas where the main characters mysteriously end up living under the same roof, leading to a blossoming romance. While the system spewed nonsense, I had already pushed open the nurse's office door. The system was right. The school's reputation was tied to these rich kids. Whether I sought help from teachers or reported the bullying, the incident would be downplayed and eventually brushed under the rug. The sponsors wanted me to become a gold digger who went astray, so I would show the audience what a true gold digger looked like. The faculty and staff at Oakwood Academy would protect each other for their own benefit, but in that solid network of interests, Nurse Sarah, new to the school, was an outsider. She was young and still held a righteous sense of justice. Seeing me, Nurse Sarah quickly stopped what she was doing. She helped me to the bed, shined a medical flashlight into my eyes, her voice trembling with anger and urgency. "Who did this to you? Don't be afraid, I'll be with you." I silently looked at my feet. Nurse Sarah sighed. She carefully examined the size and depth of my wounds, then rushed to prepare disinfectant, bandages, and instruments. In the quiet room, her anxious footsteps were particularly noticeable. I stopped her hand as she was about to treat my wounds. "Can you take a photo for me first, nurse? One where my face and injuries are in the same picture." Nurse Sarah nodded, her eyes red, and took the photos. Yes, we need to save evidence. It'll be useful at the police station later." I blinked, my face expressionless. "I don't plan on calling the police. And I hope you can keep this a secret from me. After all, hush money can ensure I live comfortably for the rest of my life." Hearing this, Nurse Sarah visibly froze. The system's incessant chatter in my mind also stopped. It seemed pleased with my words. I rephrased the system's past advice to me, including Brittany and Nicole's family backgrounds. The audience couldn't hear the system's voice, so I would say it myself. Nurse Sarah still wanted to encourage me to bravely fight against power, but as she spoke, her voice became uncertain. I forced a smile. "It's okay. Everyone has their own way of living, nurse. I'll live a good life." After a long pause, she said, "Whenever you've thought it through, come find me." I looked into her eyes and softly hummed. After my wounds were treated, Nurse Sarah found me a long-sleeved shirt. I put it on and stood in front of the mirror, tidying my messy hair. Looking at myself in the mirror, I was momentarily lost in thought. The cuts on my lips and cheekbones gave my face a fragile look. A perfect, weak, innocent girl. I couldn't help but crack a smile. No wonder the sponsors loved this kind of storyline. This face, in its moment of disillusionment, must be a unique kind of beauty. With the medical report and photos from Nurse Sarah, I didn't plan to make this public. The best outcome would only be that the parents of Brittany, Nicole, and the others would pay my parents a large sum of money, and my parents would happily take the money and sign a non-disclosure agreement, acting as if nothing happened. After all, wounds heal, and everyone has to move on. Rather than letting that money fall into my parents' hands, I'd get it myself, and make it serve a greater purpose. I opened Instagram, browse and saving photos of rich kids' daily lives, sports cars, mansions, private jets, yachts, antique paintings, jewelry, fashion shows. Then I opened TikTok, edited new content, set the location to this elite private school, and posted it. That's right, a gold digger's first step, high-profile flaunting, building a socialite persona. Perhaps due to the long silence, the system began to suspect I couldn't hear its voice. Disconnected voices echoed in my mind. What's going on with the tech team? Nova can't hear me. Vanity. Subsequent plot twists. Want to see the rich heiress slap down the vain poor girl. Want to use me to highlight the male lead.